maybe just give us a little background in terms of how this film came about, why the two of you, and how you got involved in it, and how's it doing? Either one.
Yeah, so this film, it came out of, I guess, a journalistic endeavor. It sort of happened, I don't want to say by accident, but we weren't setting out to make a film at first. I'm a journalist, first and foremost, for Breakthrough News, and I had been reporting on some of the protests happening at Colombia, the Palestine protests. And you saw maybe in the film in that first scene or in one of the first scenes where the students are protesting the banning of two pro-Palestine groups. That was actually footage from one of my first news reports from Colombia. So I'd been going there and sort of I was in touch with the students. I met some of them that night. And yeah, they told me in April that they were escalating their divestment campaign at Columbia because the university wasn't taking them seriously, wasn't listening to their demands. So they wanted to set up this encampment to basically make a more public, sort of visual intervention. And I showed up to the encampment with my camera on the first day, and you see in the film there was that scare the first night about a police raid coming and the encampment being crushed, but obviously that came the next morning, and that was those arrests of the students on that first lawn were the images that really sparked the global encampment movement. So at that point, I had stayed there that night, saw the arrest happen the next morning, and then when the arrest happened, I knew I had to sort of stay. So I stayed there in the camp for the next 12 days. And even after that, I was always planning on making sort of like a news report about the encampments and what really happened there. But we have some friends over at Watermelon Pictures, and we just, thought on a whim, maybe let's show it to them, let's show them the footage, see what they think about it. And they really wanted us to do more with it and pushed us to turn it into a film. And one of my colleagues and our mutual friend, Matt Belen, who's the lead producer on this film, knows Michael. And Michael's been organizing around Palestine for years. And Michael's a filmmaker. Unlike myself, I have no filmmaking background. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we asked Michael if he wanted to come on the project. And yeah, pretty shortly after all the filming was finished at Columbia, we started the process of making a film.
I'm in Jewish Voice for Peace. I'm not Jewish, but they they let they let others in, and um and so I it's they will tell you how upset they are about their relatives who died in the Holocaust being used as a shield to go in and harm, in the case of Columbia or in UCLA, these other colleges, harm these students to support this war. This is our war. There's no getting it. We fund it, and we arm it, and it is on us. And I gotta post this really incredible poll that has been taken, and because people really wanted to find out, why did Democrats stay home on November 5th? Why did so many millions who voted for Biden and Harris 4 years ago not come out and vote? Or if they voted, they left the top line blank. They wouldn't vote for Trump and they wouldn't vote for Harris. And the, the number one reason people gave, it was Gaza. Why they could not go and vote for this party that had essentially funded and supported Netanyahu and went over and hugged him and kept funding him and kept arming him. And the blood is on our hands too.
Mahmoud is such a strong, steadfast person who's so deeply patient and kind. And also is somebody who has gone through so much to get to this point to even, be at Columbia. That was a huge journey for him. And there's so much in that story that we wish we could have included into the film. Because really it's not just about his family being ethnically cleansed from Palestine during in 1948. He grew up in a Syrian or Palestinian refugee camp in Syria with only Palestinian papers, which didn't allow him to cross any borders. And so he had to get into Lebanon to get his education, and he would get in trouble with authorities then. And then, ultimately was able to claim Algerian citizenship through a relation through his mom. And that allowed him to travel legally. And so, not, he's very familiar with, state repression. He's familiar with these things, and it's unfortunate. But, I think he understands his role in the movement right now too, and that he's been using this as a time to also, recenter Palestine and Gaza, but also to, ring the alarm bells for other Americans that they may be coming for, international students that are standing up for Palestine now, but this is just the testing ground. And if we
Right.
let them do this, they're going to come for other people next, and ultimately they'll come for you. So
Right.
this is the time to stand up, and I think he knows the importance of this historical moment and the role that he's playing in it.
I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace, and they were very much involved. Mahmoud and the Arab American students there were I mean they are the nicest and kindest people, and they made clear every day that our Jewish brothers and sisters are here with us. They're risking their heads being cracked open on behalf of us. And you show this, in the film that there's huge Jewish support in New York City amongst Jewish students, and that part of it just isn't being told because it goes against the narrative that they want to put out there. And I'm sorry that you've had to go through all the machinations of the attacks, but that should only tell you that you made a powerful film. They saw it. They know that they don't want Americans to see it. Uh, they don't want to know the truth about what's really going on. And as somebody at my age, and I can speak for the just a few other elders who are in the room tonight, um, that we are really grateful to your generation, to those of your generation, those younger than you, so those older than you, who have stood and fought this fight to stop the massacre, to stop the ethnic cleansing, to all of this stuff, because, and these are kids that we raised. So we're really happy to see that we at least contributed something to the planet.